Hello, champions! Welcome to the beginning of yet another school week. I'm excited to release to you what we will be planning on doing for the next part of intervention for the next 6 weeks. The challenge is to build a trebuchet. The trebuchet challenge. I can tell you I'm very excited about this. So I put together this little video for you guys to see. So, to start off with, here is the challenge. You and your partner, which will be in teams of two, over the next 6 weeks, will be building a functioning model of a trebuchet. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I know I'm very excited about it. But the question remains, what the devil is a trebuchet? So, I put together this little presentation to explain it. First of all, a trebuchet is a siege engine. For those of you all who don't remember that vocabulary word from about 4 months ago, siege warfare is when armies in the ancient world would attack a walled city, and they do so by essentially surrounding that city and waiting them out, waiting for them to run out of food and water. However, that can take a very long time, as you could imagine. So, various smart people in history came up with ideas called siege engines. These were weapons designed to take a smaller weapon and kind of beef it up for the purpose of knocking down those walls. And the trebuchet is kind of a neat one because of the way it functions. You see, the way it goes is it actually combines two different tools into one. The first is a lever arm, which is what this beam is right along in here. And the second is a sling, which is this sort of bag or canvas lever that you, or not lever, weapon that you could then use to spin a projectile really quickly, thus amplifying the force you have at impact. So the way it works is you begin by attaching a counterweight over to the short end of your lever, and then a sling or a scoop on the other end. And then by pulling this side of the lever down, you raise your counterweight. And so what's happening is the counterweight is acting as potential energy. It wants to come down because of gravity. And when it does that, it flings this beam arm around, and that sling will whip that projectile up and around, and hopefully releasing it around here at the top of the swing, sending it on into what it's going to hit, and hopefully bringing down the walls. This would, of course, have very explosive results at point of impact, and could be pretty devastating. In fact, there came in history an expression, hoist by my own petard, which is a French expression, by the way, which basically means some dude was standing a little too close to this swing arm, got caught in it, and went right into the wall. Needless to say, that's a lot of damage that could be done to somebody. So that begs a question then. Are we going to be building a full-scale replica of one of these siege engines capable of throwing a 200-pound projectile around 600 feet? No, we will not be doing that. For one thing, we lack the resources to build something like this. Siege engineers could literally take weeks to build one of the larger ones, and we simply don't have time for something like that, especially if you guys are all going to be doing it on your own, which we do want a hands-on experience to this. So that would be a hard no, especially like this guy on fire. But no, we're not doing that. This is more like it. The plan of attack is for you as a team to build one of these in the span of a few weeks and be able to have a competition using them. So then that begs a question. What exactly are we going to be doing? The rules of the competition. First, the projectile in question for this is going to be those little tiny marshmallows. We are going to try to fire them as far as possible. Now, we're not going to build slings. Instead, we're going to use a scoop design. In essence, kind of like a shovel on the end of your beam arm to launch it as far as possible, like in the previous image. We will have a class-by-class championship. So each team will build their trebuchet, test it, be ready for it, and in the end, we'll have 3 official chances to launch a marshmallow as far as possible. They will get their scores, and then whichever team launches their marshmallow the farthest in the class will win for their class and then go on to represent their class in a tournament over the champions team. So, in the end, we want to be able to do this for something, because not only are we doing this for learning, but also something to recognize your excellence. And so, if you win, you will earn the right to rub it in your class's face, Ms. To prove that you are the best, and win a prize that is benefiting of your awesomeness, which may or may not be a box of Little Debbie snack cakes, your choice. Anyways, your supplies. So this is what you will have to build your trebuchet. Now here's the thing, is everybody gets the same thing. How you design the trebuchet is up to you. Some folks are going to have different ideas. The one thing I've left off of this list, by the way, if you've read over it by now, is the weights. That's because I'm using the same weights for everybody. So I've got to have a way to attach it. So think of that as you're designing it. We will help you. But back to the top of the list. You'll have 25 popsicle sticks, a bottle of Elmer's glue, one 10-penny nail to act as a pivot, and one plastic spoon to act as your scoop. How you put these together is entirely up to your team. So part of this is a design challenge. The other thing is the practical building aspect. So don't just start trying to glue things together. You're going to want to think about it. You're going to want to draw it out. You're going to plan it. You're going to have to do some research. How is this done? In the end, the whole idea of this is hopefully to have a lot of fun. Remember, that's the point. If we're not having fun, then it's not a good thing. So remember, do it for her. All right. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk it out here in a second. And I'm excited for this, guys. So see you soon. Peace.